what I want to get to is kind of his own awareness and self-perception of himself.
Hmm.
What can you say about that?
I think that Landon is a very self-aware kid. He has a lot of capabilities, and I believe that he'll be mostly independent when
Hmm.
he's done with school. Um, this is really interesting because one of the things that we talk about at home is labeling and labels.
Yes, and that's
And
one of the reasons I was reluctant to ask that question or tried to be
yeah,
careful in how I asked it.
exactly. So we've tried for Landon's whole life to not have him labeled, not have him
Yes,
labeled as having an intellectual disability or having him labeled if they were to say that he had autism or he has whatever it is. Landon's just Landon. And
right.
he has his own abilities and he has things that he does really, really well and things that he does not. And so I find it fascinating because my daughter is in the year of, or in the group of kids that all want to label each other. You know,
Mhm.
are you, what are you? What do you do? Who do you, what do you like? What do you don't like? And it's, you get labeled. And so she and I had a conversation about like, why are you trying to label yourself when we've spent 19 years trying not to label your brother because of the impact a label could have on him? And so instead of thinking about a label, think about like who you are from the core of yourself and how you want to be portrayed and how you want to portray yourself and how you want people to perceive yourself.
Right,
And so going back to Landon, Landon knows that he has challenges. Landon also knows that he's a cool kid. Like he's one of those that when the girls are, talking to him, he like gets a little shy and a little, he'll talk to him, he'll go up to him and say hello. He's smart and he knows he's smart, but he knows that he also is very manipulative and that if he feigns that he doesn't know how to do something, you'll do it for him. Like the kid knows how to tie his shoes. And he could tie his shoes really fast when he wants to, but when you have to get out of the house quickly, he pretends like he has no idea how to tie his shoes. So, it's like it's pure manipulation. And sometimes I just sit there and wait and I'm like, you're gonna have to do it today because I'm not doing it. And then he'll ask me like, would you tie my shoe? Sure, I'm happy to tie your shoe. But it's really interesting that you asked that question because I think many people see kids with disabilities or adults with disabilities because he's an adult now at 19 and they don't think of them necessarily as humans and how they feel.
yes,
It's only about how they make others feel.
right,
And so it's a really important point to show that they're people and they have feelings and they want to be loved and they want to be told that they did a good job and that they're smart and they're funny and all those
right,
things.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
just like a regular 19-year-old. I mean,
right.
I've been doing some work with non-speakers or minimal speakers who have mostly been classified as autistic, but certainly have apraxia, difficulty controlling and moving their bodies. And the thing that most strikes me is that here are these people who have these fantastic minds that are just different. Those minds are different than what we typically think of as, the right way to think or whatever.
Mhm.
But if we can look at what is actually going on, it's really phenomenal. And so then the other thing I get is that their developmental age is right on, like the ones in junior high are being just like junior high kids, you know. And um, so but I think we try to see from the outside, like someone with Down syndrome, like they have a particular look that we then stereotype as, not smart, not capable, has these particular capacities. I certainly wouldn't think of a Down syndrome person as manipulative, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to be smart to be
Yeah,
manipulative, right? And
exactly.
and so it's really interesting how the outside predicts for people the inside. And then that's also true for women in culture. That's also true for Black people. I mean, that's true all around. And it's exciting. Once again, I'm excited about this topic of conversation.
Yeah. Well, when you were saying that Landon is, very self-aware, that made me think how many of us go through life for decades being unaware
Hmm.
of some important aspect of how others perceive us and or how we project ourselves. And so I think it's a blessing to be
Yeah.
self-aware earlier rather than later. And I know when I was at CIA, I remember we were redoing our leadership courses because organizations are constantly redoing their leadership courses, which should tell you something. That's a clue. But anyway, and so, they were interviewing a lot of people saying, hey, what do you think is the most important thing that we should get across in the leadership course? And I think the most important thing I told them was to be self-aware. People who are going to have more direct responsibility for other people, because we all have responsibility for each other, but still really need to understand themselves at a level of fidelity that is greater than other people. And I
Yeah.
know, leadership's a huge thing in the military. Huge.
Yeah, it's the number of people that think that they're self-aware and think that they're good leaders is astonishing. And I would say even though I've had a ton of leadership opportunities, I still learn every day when I'm in a leadership role or when I'm not in a leadership role about what I like and what I don't like and how I want to change or how I need to adapt to a situation. And I think there's people out there who think that they're a leader and that's it, and they don't need to change and that they're good at what they do and they'll always be that good leader. And being self-aware, understanding where you fit in and understanding the situation is a skill
Yeah,
that we all
yeah.
need.